ఉమ్, మొత్తం కాదు. మీరు మీరు నేను యాక్చువల్గా ఏంటంటే మీరు డైలీ 050 చేస్తారు అనేది ఇచ్చాం. వాళ్ళు 400, 800 మీరు కాదు. చెప్పండి ఆ సార్కి. వాళ్ళు 400 చేయమన్నారు, 400 తీసుకోవాలి. అండ్ అందులోనూ ఒక ఆవిడ మానేసింది. సో నేను మ్యాక్సిమం 5 డేస్లో 200 మెంబర్స్ చేయగలను. మీరు అంతే, అదే చెప్పండి. తీసుకుందాం కదా, ఇంకొకటి తీసుకుందాం. అప్లోడింగ్స్ వరకు మీరు పక్కన పెట్టండి. అప్లోడింగ్స్ నేను వేరే నుంచి చేస్తాను. జస్ట్ కాల్స్ వరకు వీళ్ళు హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు. అజయ్ సార్ నాకు హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు. Hello all, good morning. So let us continue with our IDT. Hello all. So let us start our second class. So in yesterday's class, we discussed about the paper pattern, how indirect taxes paper pattern is going to be there. Okay. Now, in today's class, we'll enter into the subject, we'll understand from minute points like what is called tax, why, how it has arrived, everything. Okay. So first question is like, sir, if you listen to my classes, so my class is going to be little too generalistic in the beginning, then I'll connect the dots. Okay. So when you're listening to the first chapter, so this happens only with the first chapter because you should know so many details. Actually, by studying 10th, 11th, plus 2, you are aware of these things, but time passes now and you might have forgot those points and all. So I'll be just recalling the basic social things like what is called constitution, who will be framing the law, who has the right to frame laws, what is the federal structure, everything. So I'll be explaining slowly everything. So just listen to that particular part only which I am talking. From, I mean, when it comes to the 4th class, 5th class, then you will be having a better picture. Okay. So in the current class itself, you will not get the full clarity. You will be having only to the extent of the point or area which I am discussing, that you will be understanding. But overall picture you will not understand. Okay. Wait for the 3rd, 4th classes. You will be getting class by class, you will be getting that clarity. Okay. So now, first, why tax has to be levied? What is the reason behind levying tax? Sir, there are rich, there are poor. There is government to take care of the poor. There is government in between to take care of the poor. How the government will take care of the poor? By way of providing subsidies, welfare schemes. Okay. So these are provided by the government. So many like free education, health, like ration is being given. So everything government has to take care. So the question is, how government will get money for it? Okay, how government will get money? That is the point. The government will get money by way of collecting taxes. Okay. From whom the government will collect taxes? The government will generally, sir, indirect taxes approach is going to be little different, but I'm trying to explain you first what is called tax. The rich, from the rich, the government used to collect taxes. Okay. That tax money is the source of revenue to the government, which will be used to pay it to the, or to provide the welfare schemes to the poor. So this is called what? Direct tax actually. Okay. From rich, directly the government used to collect a part of their income as tax, which would be used by the government for providing infrastructural facilities, welfare schemes, everything. Okay. So the main reason of behind levying taxes, take it from the rich and give it to the poor. You understanding the point now? Take it from the rich and give it to the poor. That's the concept behind it. So that's where the government started levying taxes. Okay. Now we'll understand what is called indirect taxes then. Sir, we'll go. Why government has the right to levy taxes? Everything you'll get understand. First of all, understand. So direct taxes means, I'm saying here there will be rich. From rich, a part of their income will be taken over by government as tax, which would be used by the government to implement various welfare schemes, infrastructure, develop infrastructure, etc. Now, how indirect taxes is going to work? Sir, indirect taxes, let's say there is a person called A who is a seller, and there is a person called B who is called buyer. This seller sent goods worth 1 lakh rupees. I mean, he sold goods worth 1 lakh rupees to Mr. B. Now, how indirect taxes work means, indirect taxes are not levied on your income. Income taxes are levied on our income. So, income means here, from business perspective, income means profit. Okay, if you are an employee, then your income means salary. If you are not an employee, you are not even doing business, you just have the properties given by your ancestors, so on them you are getting the rent and all. So rent is one source of income. You might be having agricultural income. Okay, you might be having interest income. Okay, so like this there are various sources of incomes. Okay, and if any properties you sold, on that you are gaining income. Let's say your father gave you a property worth 20 lakhs, but now it worth 2 crores. Then you have earned 1.8 crores now. That is one type of income, capital gains. So these are incomes. Okay, these are incomes. On these incomes, the government will be levying taxes, which is called as indirect taxes. Which is called direct taxes. On the income, they are going to levy the taxes. Now, understand indirect taxes. In indirect taxes, it is not levied on income. It is not levied on income. In the yesterday's class also, while telling the chapter names, I said in GST, the triggering point is supply. I mean, supply should have happened. Okay. So, for the time being, okay, since we not yet entered into the supply chapter, until the completion of first chapter, we take supply is nothing but sale. Supply is nothing but what? Sale. So, now A sold goods to B. That means here sale happened. Sale happened means indirect taxes will trigger. So now indirect taxes means how much, sir? We should understand the tax rates. Okay, the government might have notified the tax rates. So we should take the tax rates here. Let's say the indirect tax rate as 12%. So how much it will be? 12,000. So total how much, sir, here? 1,12,000. 1,12,000. You're understanding now? I'm writing once again, sir. There is a person called A, seller. There is another person called B, who is called buyer. Who is called buyer. Now what this A did? A sold goods worth goods. Sir, quite a few people might be having a question like what is called goods. The definition will be discussing in depth after some time. But now consider it as goods means the tap, pen, which are tangible, which we can touch and which are movable. Those are called as goods. Okay. So now on this again there is indirect taxes at a rate of 12%. So how much it will be? 12,000. So what is the total here? 1,12,000. What is the total here? 1,12,000. Clear. Now the question is how this transaction is going to be there. Whether the buyer has to pay only 1 lakh or he has to pay 1,12,000. The buyer has to pay to the seller 1,12,000. The buyer has to pay to the seller how much, sir? 1,12,000. That means, understand now, the tax is going from the pocket of whom? The tax money is going from the pocket of buyer because he is paying for the goods as well as the tax as well. So it is coming from the buyer pocket. Now what the seller has to do? The seller got 1,12,000 now. Now what he has to do means he will be paying 12,000 rupees which he collected as tax now, that will be paid to government. He will be paid to government. The other 1 lakh rupees is there now, which will be retained by the seller. Seller will retain the 1 lakh. 12,000 he will be paying it to the government. So from this you should understand 2 points here, sir. Okay. Sir, ultimately who is bearing the tax burden? On whom the tax responsibility is there? Understand? Who is bearing the tax burden, sir? Buyer. Because ultimately the money is going from the buyer's pocket. Okay. Yes, you might have seen, sir, but buyer is not paying it to the government. Nah, yes, buyer is not paying. Seller is only paying. But ultimately it is collected from whom? Buyer. You could see the transaction here. The seller, he sold goods 1 lakh, but he is collecting from the buyer 1,12,000, considering 1 lakh goods value and the 12,000 rupees tax also. So the total money he collected is 1,12,000. So we could conclude here the burden. So burden means what? Ultimately who is having the tax burden? Ultimately who is bearing that cost is the burden. So burden is on what? Burden is on buyer. So buyer is nothing but consumer. He is the one consuming the goods. Na? Okay. But now one more question. Sir, let us understand here indirect tax is not collected. Okay, mistakenly or because of some reason seller collected only 1 lakh rupees. Now whom the government will ask? Okay, if tax is not paid on this transaction, who the government is making liable? Who is the one responsible for making that tax payment to government? You could see the transaction, whether buyer is paying to government or seller is paying to government. Seller is only paying to the government. So now the obligation, the liability is on seller or buyer? It's on seller. So you should understand here the liability to pay tax is on what? Seller. That means if tax is not paid, then government will go and ask seller, not the buyer. Liability to pay tax is on seller. Liability or obligation, responsibility. To pay tax is on what? Seller. Okay. To understand you better, I am taking one more example, sir. Let's say BCCA. And let us understand there is a student named Vijay. There is a student named Vijay. So now BCCA, whether it is supply goods or service, it is going to supply service. So BCCA provided coaching service to Mr. Vijay. So tell me, who is seller here, who is buyer here? BCCA will be the seller. Vijay will be the buyer. Okay. Let us take the coaching fee as 50,000. 50,000. Plus on this indirect tax will be there na. Let us take indirect tax at how much, sir? 18 percentage. 18 percentage. 50,000 plus 18 percentage means it comes to how much, sir? 9,000. So overall it comes to 59,000. Now how much Vijay has to pay to BCCA, sir? Vijay has to pay 59,000 to BCCA. He cannot pay just 50,000. He has to pay how much? 59,000 to BCCA. But BCCA collected 59,000. Does the total 59,000 can be retained by BCCA? No. 50,000 they can retain because that is part of their fees, whereas the balance 9,000 has to be paid to the government. So now see, BCCA is paying rupees 9,000 to government. To government it paid. How much BCCA can retain? The 50,000. 50,000 which they collected as fees can be retained. Now see again, that tax, even though paid by BCCA, but it's not from BCCA pocket. Okay, who is having the pain of paying it? BCCA has the pain? No, student only has to pay 50,000 fees as well as 9,000 rupees GST. Na? So the ultimate burden is on whom? Buyer. Okay, so now we want to conclude to here. Burden is on buyer. Burden is on buyer. Whereas liability or obligation. Whereas liability or obligation is on supplier. Liability or obligation is on supplier. Okay. I think you are understanding my point. I was trying to communicate just 2 points. In indirect taxes system, the triggering point to levy is, for the current understanding, for the present understanding, you should take it as what? For indirect taxation, the reason for levying is sale. Since a sale happened, they are levying indirect taxes. There are other events also, but slow by slow, one by step will be going. Okay, the event triggering the taxation is sale. Okay, who is the one responsible to pay tax? Seller. But the money would be from whose pocket? Buyer pocket only. That's what I want to communicate to you till now. Sir, I'm having a friend, sir, named Suresh. Okay, I'm having a friend named what? Suresh. This guy Suresh is having one doubt. What doubt means? Sir, you said from rich government is taking money and it is giving it to poor. So to take money from rich, the government is collecting taxes and government is giving it to poor by way of welfare schemes, so on so on. But in between we could see the political systems and all. There is a lot of corruption being happened. Na? Why it has to be given to government? So I'm a Suresh. This Suresh is asking. Okay, I'm a honest person, integrated person. I'm someone like a gentleman. Okay, if there will be one movie called Tamil movie Gentleman, and there is one movie Mahesh Babu acted Businessman. Okay, if you watch this kind of movies, like that only is asking why it has to be paid to government. I'll ask this rich to pay me some 3%, 5%. I'll ask this rich to pay to whom? To this Suresh. Then Suresh is saying, I will do better to the poor. Na? I'm like Pushparaj. What Pushparaj is doing? He is doing smuggling. Okay, the sandalwood trees and all, he'll cut like anything. Okay, nobody is going to stop him. He'll cut the whole forest, Nalamala forest, the whole red sandalwood trees. Now, and even he himself will load the whole truck. Okay, and he'll sell them. But with the money, what he is doing? With the money he'll be doing some good to the government, to the public. Actually, this is whose job? Government job, because the property, the forest property belongs to government. The government has to sell those sandalwood trees, and that money has to be used for the development of the public. But what Pushparaj is doing, instead of government, Pushparaj took that role. Now my question is, does Pushparaj can do that? If Pushparaj is doing, why can't we? We also will go, we also buy an axe, we also will sing a song, Dakko Dakko Maka, okay, and we'll start doing the business. Is it allowed? And if you see Businessman movie, the movie, the main plot is like, to some extent, the movie comes like into a place like, the hero says like, whatever the transaction happens in India, on the 2% has to be paid to the hero. Okay, whatever the transaction happens in money, on the transaction 2% has to be paid to the hero name is Surya in that movie. So now why he has to pay? Then government, he is saying like, if they pay 2%, whatever the problem they have in the business, he will be giving that security to the business people. Like that he said. This is nothing but the role of what? Government. Government is there for that only, no? If I start a business, if someone is peddling stones or throwing stones on my shop now, then I'll obviously go and approach the police. Police is nothing but the government. The government has to protect me. For that reason only I'm paying taxes to the government. Again, what Surya is doing, Surya Bai is doing here, the same thing. If government is doing, government is collecting, then only it is called as tax. If we collect instead of government, then that is called as mafia. Okay, we are termed as what? Mafia. You, me will become as a mafia don. You are understanding the point now? Okay, you, me will be called as what? Mafia don. So that's why we don't have the right to collect taxes. Okay, then who given the right to collect taxes? To government. Constitution of India, Indian Constitution given the right to collect taxes only to, Indian Constitution has given the right to collect taxes only to whom? Only to government. The right to collect taxes is only to the government. That's why we cannot levy taxes. Clear? Nitin, someone asking what was the motto of this batch? Motto is nothing, simple motto, no. We are coming up with 100% English. All the other things will remain usual. 100% English this batch. Okay, and it's going to be only in online mode. It's going to be only in online mode. I mean, either you could take the live classes or the recorded ones. Okay, so Constitution has given the right to collect taxes only to the government. So again, I'm summarizing the points we discussed today. The obligation to pay tax in an indirect, in a transaction, obligation to pay indirect taxes is generally on whom? The seller. Whereas the burden is on what? The burden is on whom? Buyer. The third one I said like Right to collect taxes is only with the government. We cannot collect taxes. Why we cannot collect? Constitution is not giving the right. We cannot do something beyond the constitution. We have no such right. If you are doing something beyond the constitution, then you are called as terrorist, or you are doing mafia. Okay, the whole system will be against you. We cannot do that. Okay, so right to collect taxes is with government, which who has given that power? Constitution. Sir, I'll tell which article of constitution is giving everything. It's okay, in basic class now I'm just not going into the article numbers and all, but just trying to give you a overall picture of how the system is going to work. Next I want to tell you, sir, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, like this. And let us take here 2.5 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 7.5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12.5 lakhs. Okay, this is income. You could see here, sir, till 0 the income tax rate will be is till 2.5 lakhs of income, your income tax will be 0 only. From there it goes to 5 percentage, 5, 10, 15, 20. So like that, when it's keep on increasing. You understood my point, no? When your income increases, your tax rate will also increases. The point which I want to tell here is, when income increases, tax rate will also increase. So see here, 5 lakhs my tax went up, 7.5 lakhs my tax went up till here, 10 lakhs my tax went up till here, 12.5 lakhs my tax went till the rocket. Okay, so when income increases, even the tax rate will also increase. If any system, if it is in a growing phase, I mean when the rate, the graph shows like it's in an inclining way. Here you could see the line is what? Inclining. It's going upwards. Then it is called as what? Progressive in nature. Progressive. So direct taxes are always progressive. That means when income increases, even the tax rate will also increase. Now let us see what happens in indirect taxes. Here also 2.5 lakhs, 5 lakhs. Sorry. So in indirect taxes, it's not based on income, no? It's based on a transaction. Let us see, there is rich, there is poor, there is middle class, and there is rich. 3 categories. And the tax rate would be, whoever you are, whether you are rich, poor, middle class, the tax rate, there will be only one tax rate for a good. Let's say any of these 3 buy a soap. Okay, one particular soap they bought. All the 3 kind of people are using the same kind of or the same brand soap. On that soap, the 12% GST rate is, if it is there, na, then whether you are poor, middle class, rich, you will be having the same kind of tax rate. You will be having what? The same kind of tax rate. So that means what? Irrespective of rich, poor, the tax rate is going to be same. Your tax rate will not increase. So what you want to conclude here, the ultimate conclusion we could give is, there will not be any change irrespective of your income capacity. So it is called as what? Regressive in nature. Regressive in nature. So direct taxes are progressive in nature, whereas indirect taxes are regressive in nature. What is the meaning of it? If progressive means when your income increases, even your tax rate will also increase. But in indirect taxes, there is no differentiation between your income earning capacity. Everybody taxed at a common rate. Everybody taxed at a common rate. Irrespective of rich and poor, everybody will be taxed at a single rate. That's why it is called as what? Regressive in nature. It is called as regressive in nature. So the obligation to pay tax is on seller, burden is on buyer, Right to collect taxes is only with the government, which is a right given by the constitution. Direct taxes are progressive in nature, indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Okay, now let us go on understand much more further, sir. I'm going something different, deviating from the plot. I want India map, sir. Now, who all are listening to the initial classes, I want you guys to learn the total number of states in India. Okay, only if you understand the number of states in India, then it would be easy for us. One second, ma'am. Let me connect. So why India map is, oh, we have to learn, sir. We already learned it in school and we forgot also. Now again, why India map, sir? It is important, sir. All the state names are required to be remembered for the purpose of GST. Okay, all the state names, they are actually relevant. Otherwise, why would I tell you? Okay, since in the initial classes we are not discussing so much of content now, so it's better if you remember the names now itself. Okay, so see here, union territories. So first tell me, how many union territories are there in India? What are the number of union territories in India? Union territories, sir. 7 or 8? 9? 7, okay, 8, 9. What is the right answer, sir? How many union territories are there in India? 8 is the right answer. There are how many union territories, sir? 8. Let me show you what are the union territories. Here you could see now Puducherry, this is one. Okay, this Yanam is also part of Pondicherry. This Karikal is also part of Pondicherry. Here, there is small place, Mahi. These four circles are part of Pondicherry, Puducherry. Puducherry. This is one union territory. So, I'll even explain why the union territories are formed also. Just to have knowledge. Chumma. They'll not ask in the exam. Puducherry. Second one, you could see this one as a this one, Andaman Nicobar Islands. This is one union territory. Second one, Andaman Nicobar Islands. Andaman Nicobar Islands. Third one. Third one, if you see, Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep, this way. Towards the Arabian Sea, there is Lakshadweep. This is also an union territory. Lakshadweep. Fourth one, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Puducherry. Next, the next union territory I am going to talk about is our capital. Here, this is our capital. Okay, our capital, New Delhi. Next, fifth one. Fifth one is, sir, this one. Chandigarh. You could see Punjab and Haryana. The common capital of Punjab and Haryana is nothing but what? Chandigarh. So that is our fifth union territory. Sixth one. Come to the Gujarat side, sir. Here you could see Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. These two are initially separate union territories, but they were merged, and now these are called as one union territory. And this is called as one union territory, nothing but Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Daman and Diu plus Daman and Diu. Altogether, this is called as only one union territory. Next, there is one more one, sir. Seventh and eighth, because I said how many union territories here? 8 union territories, na? What are the two? Sir, Jammu and Kashmir is no more a state. This part, it's not a state now. Okay, these are considered as 2 union territories. This is the 7th one we take, this is the 8th one. Okay, now, so Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. So total, how many union territories are there, sir? 8 union territories. So I want you to learn the names of the states as well. These are called as what? 8 union territories. How many union territories, sir? There are total 8 union territories. What are those union territories? Puducherry, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, New Delhi, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. There are total 8 union territories. Now, let me explain why these are called as union territories. Sir, Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep, you could see these are islands. Only state forces cannot have or provide better security to them. Okay, so that's why they were under the central control. The central government can retain the power, and they are also needed for the strategical point of view of India also. Because some missile is going to be attacked in India, then they are going to be dislocated or they are going to be attacked, counter-attacked from Andaman Nicobar Islands and this side from Lakshadweep. They will not wait till the missile reach India now. So that's why these are the strategically, these are needed for us. From in India, from the ocean, someone is going to attack. Now, from this side, Andaman Nicobar Islands only, we could start attacking. From this side, Lakshadweep, from Lakshadweep only, we could start attacking. So these are the strategical points which are required, and these will, considering the islands and their geographical locations, they require more security and control. So that's why central government has retained the power on the union territories. Okay. Next, coming to Puducherry. Sir, Puducherry has a long story. Previously, French people used to live there, but once independence came, we, the common public, thought they are also as Britishers, and they started attacking on them. Like even the independence, we got independence also. Still, you people are living here only. You should leave our country. So like that, the locals started. But these are not Britishers. Actually, they are French people, and they are friendly. Okay, they are not. They didn't created any trouble to India. So then they went and met the Prime Minister. Then Prime Minister said like, okay, you could stay here only, no problem for us, unless you disturb us. Then they complained about the local security issues. Then central government said like, you need not to worry anything. The central government will provide you security. Your areas will be under the central control. So they are categorized as, or they are termed as what? Union territory. That's why Puducherry has been formed. Okay, Andaman Nicobar Islands, I explained why. Lakshadweep, I explained Puducherry. Now New Delhi. Sir, New Delhi is the capital. Okay, the only reason why it is divided or separated from Uttar Pradesh, since it is capital area, there should be separate focus on it. That's why New Delhi has been created as a considered as a separate area. But why central control on it? Because the Prime Minister live there, President, the Member of Parliament, everybody, the high key people who are the one running the country will be located in Delhi only. The whole politicians and the political system, the lawmakers, everybody lives there in New Delhi. So it requires a lot of security since it is our capital city. The state government have only police departments to provide security, but whereas the central has military, navy, army, everything. So all those things to provide much more security, Delhi is also treated as what? Considered as what? Union territory. Next, Chandigarh. Sir, in Punjab and Haryana, they have dispute between Punjab and Haryana are actually one state. When they are dividing as two states, they have an issue with Chandigarh. Chandigarh is their capital city previously. So now Punjab people, Punjab is asking like Chandigarh should be our place and Chandigarh should be our capital. Whereas Haryana is asking no, Chandigarh should be given to us. So the central said like you take your state Punjab, you take your state Haryana. Chandigarh will remain as the common capital and it will be under the central control. So that's why Chandigarh is kept as Union territory. Now Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Sir, you could see Dadra and Nagar Haveli. These are near the Gujarat, sir. Again, these are also from the Arabian Sea only. These are also. Okay. So strategically, these are also having the same kind of problems geographically. Okay, there used to be so much connections with them. Considering the security issues and all, these are considered as what? Union territories. Next, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Sir, in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, we could see we had a war with Pakistan previously only for because they wanted to occupy part of Jammu and Kashmir. Even China is also trying to occupy a part of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so now to consider this, India is saying like India said like if it remains as a state government, there will be a lot of disturbances. The public are not having that patriotic feeling about India. Some people think like, I mean, previously, sir, now they changed a lot. Previously, they used to think like, quite a people might think like, better we go to Pakistan. Some people might think better we go to China. So, to remove those disturbances, and so many terrorist organizations and groups are entering into Jammu and Kashmir to have a control over this area and to remain that strategical position of having this as part of India. They are also called as Union territory to remain the power. Okay, so to overall, how many Union territories, sir? There are 8 Union territories. Tomorrow, by coming to tomorrow class, what I would expecting from you is learn all the state names. Yes, it is required. At what place? The last chapter of GST, when we go to the last chapter of GST, I'll again link it with it. Okay, what you need to learn, sir? You need to learn the state names, all the state names, not just south or north. All the state names you should learn. Okay, that is your today's task, sir. Okay, since it is a live batch, sir, quite a few students may not be sitting face to face to me. If you are sitting against to me, I might have asked questions to you. But since you are sitting so far somewhere else, I cannot ask you questions in the live classes. So, but let us make it engaging. I want you guys to prepare and come. Just take the task. The only thing with CMA, sir, let me explain the problem we face generally. Sir, CMA inter exam, many people or many students will feel CMA as tough course. Okay, but understand, is it really tough? Sir, the problem with the course is you should have conceptual understanding. I mean, problem not with the course, with the students. You should have conceptual understanding. When you will get conceptual understanding, when you follow the classes regularly. Second one, not only regularly, while watching classes, what you should do what you will do generally means, you are in a hurry to complete the classes when you buy recorded or live classes. Think, is it going to work? Is our motto to complete classes or to learn subject? Is our motto is to learn subject or to complete classes? Our motto is to learn classes only, na? Then why you are going with 1.75x speed, 1.5x speed? With that speed, if you are watching the lecture means, how much can your brain process? Think of our brain capacity as well. If keep on, it's going like attacking it, some point, some 5 minutes, it will listen actively. And another 2-3 minutes, gone. Again it will come. And again 5 minutes it will be active. It's not going to work like that. What we should do is like listen it 1.25 speed, maximum 1.25 speed. Okay, then your brain will have that processing time. That is one thing. Conceptually, that means whatever the faculty tells in the class, you should have a running notes, you should be having material in handy, and you should revise it number of times. So that conceptual understanding you should have, then you should revise it, and speed of listening classes should be maximum of what, 1.25x only. Next, in the third one, sir, procrastination. In recorded classes, the problem which you face is the procrastination. We'll think of, we'll start from tomorrow, we'll start listening 2 classes from tomorrow, we'll start plan, we'll watch 2 classes and we'll study this chapter tomorrow. Everybody will think of starting from tomorrow only. Start from today and do it today only. And when you fix a schedule, no matter what happens, try to fix it, try to sit for it. Then only you could complete the courses. These are not simple courses like 10-hour, 12 hours courses. Each subject will have around 110 hours. Okay, you should sit for so many long days. Then only you could complete the coaching properly and conceptually. Then your exam will become easy. When your coaching is not easy, when your coaching is not perfect, when you have no conceptual clarity, when you didn't practice, how could we expect to think of it? Okay. Remember all the state names and come tomorrow. Okay. See, if you look at our material, sir, the first question itself is differences between direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct taxes, indirect taxes, incidence of tax. Okay, this point, sir, to explain you this point, we need to learn ITC concept. So I am not explaining this. Maybe tomorrow's class or the next to tomorrow, day after tomorrow class, we could understand this. I'm not covering this point now. Basis. What is the base for levying income taxes, direct taxes? It's income generation. Check yourself. Did you pay income tax till now? Did you pay income tax till now? No, na? Why? Because you don't have income. If you are having income, on income generation, income tax will be there. But indirect taxes you might have paid. You are not thinking of it, but you already paid indirect taxes. You paid BCCA coaching fee, on that indirect tax is there. You bought a shirt, on that indirect tax is there. You bought a soap, on that indirect tax is there. You bought a cool drink, on that indirect tax is there. So indirect taxes is on selling goods. Okay, we took an example also in the earlier class. Okay, not in the earlier class, today's class only, in the first part. What we said, like, when there is a sale transaction, on the sale value, some percentage will be levied as tax now, indirect taxes. That will be there on almost all kind of sales. So that means you are paying indirect taxes on whatever you are using. You are using a mobile, on that indirect tax is there. You are using laptop, on that indirect tax is there. Okay, so indirect taxes is on what? Consumption. If you are consuming, if you are buying something, on that indirect taxes will be levied. Whereas direct taxes are levied on what? Income generation. Now coming to direct taxes, shifting of tax burden. Can or burden be shifted to someone else? No. Direct taxes, the burden is only on the one who is generating income. If I am generating income, on the tax has to be paid by me. But whereas indirect taxes, actually the seller has to pay tax. But what he is doing, he is collecting the money from buyer. You understand the point, no? The seller has to pay tax. Look at this example which we discussed. Okay, the seller is responsible to pay tax. He is only paying. But from whom he is collecting the tax money also? He is collecting from the buyer. So the burden is shifted from seller to buyer. Okay, I even said about the nature. Direct taxes are what? Progressive. What does it mean by progressive? Inclining. When your income increases, even your tax rate will also increases. Next, regressive indirect taxes. What does it mean by regressive? Regressive means irrespective of your income generating capacity, whether you are rich or poor, you will be taxed at the same rate. That is called as regressive in nature. Next example, sir. Direct taxes, the example is income tax. Whereas for indirect taxes, the examples are GST and customs duty. Next, administrative body. Sir, administrative body means something like, sir, we all know the basic traffic signals red, yellow, green. When green light pops means you should go. When yellow light means you are ready to go. You shall not go. You are ready to go. But when red light means you should stop there. That's the concept of signals, na. But there is red light. You went. Okay, you didn't even focus on everything. Red light, now we have seen so many red lights, and you just went off. Then the traffic constable is there, na, someone who is looking at you, will be taking a picture of your bike or vehicle, and then he'll send a challan to it. Then there is already, for traffic control, there is an act. But who is the one actually at ground level checking whether we are following or not? Traffic constable. Na? The same way, there is tax system, indirect tax system, direct tax system. Okay, just because they kept a rule, there is no guarantee that we are going to follow. So there should be someone who should check whether we are following it or not as per the statute, as per the law. That is the one who is going to check or called as administrative body. For direct taxes, it is CBDT. CBDT means Central Board of Direct Taxes. CBDT means Central Board of Direct Taxes. Then CBIC means Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. CBDT means Central Board of Direct Taxes. CBIC means Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Okay, so look at this question once again, sir. Basis direct taxes is on income generation. When you generate income, you will be having direct taxes. Indirect taxes, when you consume, you will be having indirect taxes. Shifting of tax burden, it is possible under direct taxes, whereas under under direct taxes it is not possible. It is possible under indirect taxes. Direct taxes are what? Progressive in nature, whereas indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Examples of direct taxes: income tax, whereas indirect taxes, GST and custom duty. Administrative body of direct taxes, CBDT, whereas for indirect taxes it is CBIC. Sir, I am closing the session for today. Okay, slowly from the third class, fourth class, we'll be picking up the pace. Okay, thank you all. Mr. Majnu Chinu, thank you.